Field of 5 come around the turn. Frankie's going to start from the second row. Green light is up and they're away. Do Not Surrender flew out from barrier 4, is going to fly across and find the lead pretty comfortably. Ahead of Just Call Me Chief, being restrained as the Pantheist, but it wants to get on with the job also, but it's going to try and be restrained back to the rear, I would say. Driving the peg line as they go into that first turn, and it was Frankie. He's second to last, and getting back to last was the Pantheist, and just up ahead of them was Latrell, who settles 3 back the poles. So into the back straight, and Do Not Surrender has put the anchor out, and they start to slow up. It leads out by just over a length on Just Call Me Chief and Latrell. Back on the inside was Frankie, and eventually being able to be restrained and get to the pegs was the Pantheist, but it's only about 15 or 18 metres off the front at the most as they go inside the mile. Do Not Surrender leads the way down the back straight and is dictating terms to suit itself. Leads out by just on a length on Just Call Me Chief, who is in second and behind the leader, and will have the option of the Saddle World Shepparton Sprint Lane in the last circuit. 3 back the poles was Latrell, a length and a half away then to Frankie, and pulling hard at the rear of the field as they come around the turn was the Pantheist. Really wants to get over racing here and wants to get on with the job, but it's still at the rear and about 15 off the front. They come into the straight past the 1200 metre mark, and Do Not Surrender is doing it nicely out in front. Leads clearly, a length in front of Just Call Me Chief in for the trail as they come down to the winning post judge and the bell. Latrell 3 back the marker line, then came Frankie, and still over racing was the Pantheist, but it's now decided to go into the running line and face the breeze as they go past the stables turn. Do Not Surrender leads the way past the 900 metre mark, a length in front of Just Call Me Chief in for the trail. Latrell 3 back the markers as the Pantheist slowly keeps around them inside the half, and back on the inside 4 back the poles was Frankie at the rear. Down the back straight they travel inside the 700, and the leader was Do Not Surrender. By a length on its back was Just Call Me Chief. The Pantheist is moving up on the outside to third. 3 back on the inside, Latrell is getting into the 1-1 was Frankie past the Barristock sign off the back. 500 metres left to travel, and Do Not Surrender leads the way. Just Call Me Chief waiting for that sprint lane run as the Pantheist now gets to second. Despite pulling hard, it's still in the fight. 1 by 1 for Frankie yet to peel. Latrell's back on the inside, but just lost a length as they turn for home. 200 metres left to travel, and Do Not Surrender leads the Pantheist. Now tipping out was Frankie. Back on the inside, Just Call Me Chief. On the outside, the Pantheist and Do Not Surrender. And here comes Frankie, the Pantheist and Frankie, the Pantheist and Frankie. Frankie has got up to win over the Pantheist, who's been an amazing run under the circumstances. 3 back on behind them then was Do Not Surrender third. They dropped Just Call Me Chief, and Latrell has run last of all, but saw them all safely home.